think, let's start it. Let's start this podcast. This is episode 3 of our SGI podcast, which is surprising that we are already at 3. It feels like we just started last week, and we're already at 3. So, yeah, I guess let's get started. How would you like to start off today?
I'll start off by welcoming everybody back, and we do appreciate the feedback and then the people watching our stuff. It's really cool to see that kind of interaction with some people. Like, we've gained more followers, we've had more views. I know this last week's episode 2, didn't have as many views as the first one, but like
we still got people to watch it. That's all that matters, I feel like.
To me, I'm still excited just to see that anybody's genuinely interested to hear what we have to talk about.
And we actually, surprisingly, I don't know, I didn't comment back, but we actually got our first comment on one of the videos. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, but I don't know if it was an actual person, because they were kind of just asking how we edit our videos or something.
It's like a bot.
Yeah, so it's like when stuff like that, when you first start off as a content creator, it's always hard to know if there's genuinely people actually trying to help out, or it might just be a bot trying to sell you something. Because I get that all the time when I stream. You get these random people that will say hello for a split second, and you're talking to them. They're having a nice a small little conversation, and then they finally say, "Oh, hey, can I get your Discord? Do you have a Discord?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a Discord." And they're like, "Oh, follow me," or "Here's my Discord," and follow me or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm streaming right now, so I can't follow you right now, but they'll keep on demanding to follow the Discord, tell me your accept my friend request.
Can I be your Discord princess?
Yeah. And then there's one time that I did do it, and then I thought that because generally we actually had a small conversation, and literally as soon as I accepted their friend request on the Discord, they're automatically saying hey, here's my portfolio
spam.
Yeah, spam. Here's my portfolio for all these different designs, emotes, overlays, and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, then I don't know if this is actual real person. This wasn't a real person to begin with, but we actually had a small conversation before we got to this point. So it's always interesting when we see our first couple comments, and it's do we know is it a bot or is it not?
Yeah, it's hard to tell if anybody's being genuine.
Exactly.
About that kind of stuff. But I mean, considering we're still very new to everything, I don't expect anybody to have those kinds of conversations with us just yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I think as time progresses and we keep doing this, I mean, I know we're doing this just for fun, you and I, but to have anybody come along on the journey with us is kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not looking for any type of notoriety or oh my God, there's no. It's just you and me, and then
we're kind of we're doing this to build a community, but then we're also kind of just doing this for ourselves, because I feel like there's certain things that in our previous conversation podcast too, there were some things that he said. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that about him, and I've known him for 15 years, and I didn't even know that about him. So I definitely feel like this is for the community, but I feel like it's definitely for us, and I feel like this just is getting us to know each other even more, even though we've known each other for 15 years. So you're always learning something new, and I feel like that's what these conversations are for, just to learn something new about the person, and you're oh wow, I see them in a different perspective, or I didn't think that they were into that type of stuff.
It's actually 18 years. I've known you since 2008.
Oh yeah, 2008.
Yeah. So I'm because we're 2 years shy of 2 decades of friendship.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah, but let's talk about a couple of things more about us as far as our favorite games of all time. I mean, I have a few, and I can't just give one for obvious reasons, because there's so many good things out there. I'll give you my favorite single-player game, and I'll give you my favorite multiplayer game.
That's good. Yeah, one single-player game, one multiplayer game.
So I would say, franchise-wise, if I had to pick any single-player game, it is hard to pick, but I would definitely go with the God of War franchise.
Okay.
As I've played all of those by myself and with my pops from start to finish. I mean, he hasn't played any of the newer ones just because of life, but man, and then the fact that we're gonna get a TV show now, that's how you know the game's doing good, if it gets a TV show at some point.
It's iconic.
It is iconic, and I would say for my favorite multiplayer game of all time, definitely hands down Halo 3.
Okay.
Halo 3 only because I spent a lot of time on that with you and everybody else. We spent a lot of summers just hours on end, pulling all-nighters, just playing, we're always playing Forge mode or playing Team SWAT. If we did, we played a lot of Infection together. I think that's what we were always.
Infection.
We were always creating maps and stuff to play on Infection.
I don't think any of us created maps. I think they just had maps that were created. Did we? I don't think. Did we know anyone that actually customized maps?
Yeah, we had a few. I know John did. John was a part of that. I don't know if Alex helped him out with that or not, but I know.
I know those two. I definitely feel like they did work on their own maps and stuff. But I feel like as far as our little group, I don't think any of us actually
I know
went ham on a Forge map.
No, we always borrowed everybody's maps, but I know for a fact that like when we played, we always had the same settings though. Like whoever was infected had super speed. They had the energy sword, and they had like 0 to no health, so it was a one tap for almost every shot, as long as it was a headshot.
My favorite fun custom game that we played, I think it was in Halo 3, was Griffball.
Oh yeah.
Was that Halo 3?
Yeah, Griffball was Halo 3.
Griffball was just fun because you didn't really get to use the gravity hammer too much like when you play the multiplayer, because everyone's trying to go for it. Yeah. So like being able to play that custom game was really fun because you're like, oh, I actually get to feel how the people feel when they bash me with the gravity hammer, because if you're playing in a multiplayer and you're not like rushing over there, or like not really like killing people on the way over there, you ain't getting that gravity hammer. So it was nice to have that custom mode because you were able to try things that you wouldn't normally be able to try in a multiplayer game. Or in a multiplayer match, sorry.
That's one thing I did appreciate about Bungie, was every week or so they would have like a weekly like new game mode update every week, and they would have like the funniest clips, the funniest pictures of the week, things like that. Like back before when anything like that was ever required out of any game. Way ahead of its time, and it's sad to see it gone.
I know. Well, it's not gone. It's just they haven't been so great, honestly, because I did play. I played a little bit of 4. I didn't really get too much into it. Mostly my cousin played like 4. I think he only played 4, so that's the only reason why I knew what was in it. It definitely felt cool, but it just didn't feel like a Halo game. At some point in the game of Halo 4, like it didn't feel too much like a Halo. It felt like a Call of Duty kind of.
Bungie wasn't a part of it after.
I know that.
So like that was all 343, which is garbage, by the way. It's not the same kind of Halo we fell in love with. The story was completely different. I don't like the fact that they changed the Master Chief armor. Like the Mjolnir, you can't mess with that, in my honest opinion.
I would say this though about Halo 4, definitely the multiplayer was kind of fun because they had like the primordial weapons, I think, that actually were kind of fun to use. But other than that, like I didn't like the story too much, even though I only played like half of it, and my cousin's the one that finished it. But I don't know, there was just something missing from like Halo 3, because I think also too with Halo 3, even though it's from a different studio, you're thinking like a continuation from 3 where it left off, but then you get into 4 and it just feels like it's like there's no continuation. So you're like, where does this take place? Yeah, it's like, where does this take place? Does this take place a year after 3? Does it take 10 years after 3? Like it doesn't give you that context. It kind of just puts you in the mix. And I guess you just have to take it as, oh, this is just a complete. It's almost like a reboot. Almost like this is Halo. This is the Halo. Even though it's Halo 4, it's technically Halo 1 with the new studio. So like the story doesn't connect back to 3 too much.
No, and I think that kind of goes back to from one studio not being able to use the same material as like ideas. So it's like, how does one studio continue off from what another studio's ideas had, because they're not their ideas? So like, yeah, they have to create their own narrative and story, but I mean, for a huge franchise like that, for Xbox at the time or Microsoft, it's kind of hard to like, change that. It's no different than what they did to Gears of War.
Yeah,
after 1, 2, and 3 were by the same team, and then there was that whole issue with I think it was the guy who started, Cliff Bleszinski. He left. And after that, Gears of War was never the same. The gameplay was different.
They got into Fortnite. They became Fortnite.
Right,
they became known as Fortnite.
Yeah, which is a huge conglomerate.
But yeah, I think with like Halo 4, like what also threw me off is because in 3 you settle that alliance with like the Covenant, or with Arbiter and like all the Covenant, and then you get into 4 and you're fighting them again. So I was like, wait, weren't we just friends with them in Halo 3? Why are we all of a sudden against them now? So that's what threw me off about the story, because I was just like, there was no context at the beginning when you get put into the game and you're just fighting the Covenant again. You're like, wait, I thought we were friends, but I guess not now, according to what happened. Like, there's no context between 3 to 4 why the Covenant are, like, why we're fighting them again. Because, we created an alliance in 3, so that's why I felt like it was a little weird that it didn't play off of 3.
Yeah. They should have honestly just left it after Halo 3 and left it alone. Yeah. I was okay with Master Chief being in cryogenic sleep for the rest of his life and that being the end of the story.
Or they could have just rebooted it, honestly, and made Halo 1, 2, and 3. If they wanted to make a brand new story, they could have just rebooted it and then made Halo 1, 2, and 3 with a completely different story, which I feel like would have been cooler, because at least you're not trying to tie it back to the original series. You're just like, okay, this is its own story. I kind of want to see what they're gonna do with it. But like since you're trying to come off of 3 and then going to 4, and there's that like continuation, and it's supposed to be like a sequel to like 3, it just feels a little weird. So I feel like it would have been better if they would have just rebooted it. As like a 1,
I would have
2,
been
3.
okay with that, because then it's like my expectations are a little bit
exactly.
lower, because now I'm not comparing it to what it was to what it is now. So, what about you? What are your,
top game? I don't even know for a multiplayer, but the easiest one for me was BioShock.
Ooh.
BioShock is probably my favorite game of all time. I didn't mind 2 and BioShock Infinite and BioShock 2 too much, but like BioShock 1 was just it's completely unique, especially when you like the story, the music. Because at that time I was very into Fallout 3. So you had like that old school music, that old school classic feel, that era of time. So then when I heard about BioShock, it kind of added that. So it's like it felt like a darker version of like Fallout. So like I really enjoyed that game, just getting introduced to Rapture, a city underwater, and the beauty of how great it is, like the beauty of the city as a whole, pretty much when you first see it. And honestly, to this day, the original BioShock, if you were to play it now, it definitely still holds up as far as looks. Like it doesn't look dated, honestly, because I remember like I thought the graphics were freaking phenomenal when it originally came out, but then I see it now, going back to it when I originally playing the original version of it, and I was just like, because usually with most games now, if you try to play them now, you're like, oh, this definitely feels like
didn't age well.
Yeah, it didn't age very well. But BioShock, I don't know, I feel like it aged perfectly. The gameplay was fun. It had that horror element to it, which I feel like was one of my main things, because I was never into like too much of horror, and I think that's the game, even though it's not considered a horror game, but it had horror elements. That's what kind of got me hooked to wanting to play more of that like horror style type of games. And I think that's what kind of like started my whole career in like playing horror games, because of that game.
I remember watching E3 and they dropped a trailer for that, and you heard the Big Daddy come out with the giant drill. I was like, well, I need that. Like that game looks sick.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool game, because I've been where I played it actually was, I didn't play it at home first. I actually played it. There was a place called Fry's Electronics. So that was like the Costco of like electronics. That place was so cool. Like,
by the way, we're dating ourselves by saying that.
Yeah, Fry's
no longer exists.
But yeah, that place was really cool. It was like the Costco for electronics. Like you could find PCs, TVs, and all that stuff. It was like a humongous Best Buy, I guess, because I know Best Buy was there at that time.
There was 2 of them around here, actually. There was the one that heading towards Brea, and then I think there was one over here heading towards the City of Industry.
Yep.
Which both those buildings are vacant now.
Yeah. But I remember I was there, and I forget what my parents were looking for. They were looking for some new, I guess, I forget what they were looking for, but I was pretty much in the gaming section, and I think they had not even the demo. They actually had the system all set up and everything, like those stands that they used to have so you could test out the games. And they actually had the full game on the display right there, which is kind of surprising, because usually it's just a demo and you play like 30 minutes, like maybe like 20 minutes, and then the demo's over, so it's like a very short demo. No, they actually just let you play the full game. And I remember playing it a good amount, and I think my parents were like coming back to me, and like, oh, what are you guys doing? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm playing this game. I don't know what it is. I think I don't know what it is, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of creepy at the same time. And I think we actually asked a worker there, like, oh, what game is this? Because it didn't have a display. It's like, oh, it's called BioShock or whatever. And I was there for like, I don't know how long. I was playing that for a while, because my parents were they were shopping for a while, and I was playing like a good amount of that game. And I think it wasn't that first time, but I think the second time we went back, I played it again. I was like, oh, is it still on display? So when we went back to the Fry's, I went back to it, and it was still there. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna play it some more. And they would always see me playing it, of course, and they were like, let's just get him the game. He's already, every time we come to Fry's, he's going straight to go play that game. And I remember when I got the game, it was actually kind of fun. It was Valentine's Day, and that was the time when I was like a kid or whatever, and my parents would like celebrate Valentine's Day with them, with each other at the same time, but they would still try to include me and my sister,
Yeah.
which was like kind of cool. So it was kind of like an extra like birthday or like an extra Christmas. So like usually, so it was really cool. And I think they were like, they got us both gifts, and it was wrapped up and everything. It's like they were like, Happy Valentine's Day. I was like, okay, cool. Like, what is this? And I was kind of like, I kind of already felt like it was like it's a game, but I didn't know what game it was. And then it was BioShock, and I was like, oh, like I got BioShock. They're like, that's all you play when we went every time we went to Fry's. So we decided, let's get you your own copy. So that was a really cool Valentine's Day, because that's when I first got the BioShock game, and from there on I just played that forever. And I think I've played that game all the way begin to end maybe like 3-4 times in my lifetime, or like all the time. So definitely a phenomenal game, and I definitely enjoy that game, and that's always going to be on the top of my list.
Nice. And
as far as multiplayer game, I don't really know.
We've hopped around from so many multiplayer games. It's always whatever's hot and then on to the next.
Yeah.
I know we used to like bounce between a lot of games, but nowadays we just kind of like, once that one's done with, we move to the next one and never look back. It was like when we got into Apex Legends. Like, we were on that game hard. Yeah. But then when it got really sweaty, we were like, peace out. Like, done with that game.
I think I feel like my favorite multiplayer game, probably, you know what? Honestly, I would say Destiny, the first one.
Ooh.
I think there's so many like moments in that game, because you had like the PvE part of it, and then you had the PvP part, and we played both of it, and there was just something about that game. It was very, at that time when it first came out, there was not too many games that were out that played like that. I think the only game, because they used to say it was like the Borderlands clone, because actually that would be another one of my favorite games. I won't go into like a big old story about that, but like Borderlands is probably also like another top tier single player game for me. And I think with that game, because I was the only like looter shooter at the time when Destiny came out, I was like, oh, this is just Borderlands in space or something like that. So it was getting compared to Borderlands a lot when it first came out.
To me, that was the replacement for Halo 3 that I needed, because it was by Bungie.
Oh, yeah.
So there was already high expectations. I'm like, okay, Bungie hasn't made a good game since, well, not that they hadn't made a good game. They just took a hiatus, because I think the last game they dropped for that was either Reach or ODST.
Oh, Reach.
That's another great game, yeah.
Reach was phenomenal.
That story, amazing, but multiplayer was kind of, it was lacking. Yeah. It was lacking that Halo 3
the thing I hated about the Halo Reach was the damn, what is it? What's that thing called? The shield thing?
Oh, the shield charge, yeah.
Where they'll do the shield charge.
It's an augment, yeah.
And then you try shooting at them and nothing will happen. And then when they come out of it, I think it like stuns you for like a couple seconds.
Yeah. You get stuck in the animation out of it, and it just cleans for a clean headshot.
Yeah, but pretty much I hate it, because everyone would use that thing. So you're like trying to kill this guy, and you're about to kill him, and then they'll drop the augment to be able to do that shield thing, and then they would end up winning half the time, because then they come out and it does that overcharge. I think that affects the person that's right by them, and then they would just kill you. And I'm just like, I just want to kill you, but you have that damn Spartan overcharge or whatever it was called. So that was the only thing I didn't like about that multiplayer. But it definitely felt like different. It felt like a very interesting direction for like a Halo multiplayer game.
Oh, yeah. And then, as far as Destiny goes, man, we spent hours on end on that game, too. The grind for the loot, the armor, doing the raids, that was something new to me, having to have like a team effort with everybody. And I remember the amount of arguments we all get in there. Especially when we did the Vault of Glass and we were trying to navigate through the... I forget what those things were called.
The harpies?
Yeah, the ones where if they saw you, it was like game over, and then we had to start over for everybody.
Yeah.
I remember constant arguments, and then we found the cheese way to do, where it's just like you go far left and you just stay on the wall and you avoid all that bullshit.
And then I think, but when we started Destiny, I actually started a little bit later than them.
And you were on a different console.
No, I didn't start later. I think I probably started it not as early. I think when it came out, they got it. And
a month later.
Yeah, I think a month later, I ended up getting it, but I got it on PS3 because I was like, oh, is it on PS3?
Yeah.
And I didn't have to pay for online.
Because
I had to pay for online, so I was like, oh, PlayStation offers free. It's like when PlayStation was cool and they offered you online for free. Now they charge you to be able to play online. But I remember Sony originally had the plan where you didn't have to pay to be able to play online, and so I got it for PS3. And that's how I played with them, and I got in. They already had a bunch of stuff. I had to start from the ground up and everything, but it was definitely fun, especially the raids. I remember like we wasted countless hours on those raids, especially when they first came out. I think one time we waited. I think it was already like 5 o'clock in the morning, and there was a certain part of, I forget which raid it was. I think it might have been King's Fall, the last raid that they did, where they introduced Oryx, which I think was probably like the best expansion from the whole Destiny 1 era. And I think we were trying to complete it, and I think we just kept on messing up.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning already, and we were just like, we were thinking about doing it again, but everyone was kind of getting frustrated over it, and they're like, "Nah, let's just we're done."
Yeah.
Like,
we'll reset tomorrow.
We already wasted like, I don't know, like 8 hours already on that. So we're like, we should just continue on. But everyone was already tired and over, and like, yeah, it's fine. We'll just start over again. But I remember, there were some countless nights with raids in Destiny, which I think was really great.
And I think honestly they had some of the best like expansions and releases. So that game was the first game to introduce me to microtransactions too. Back when they were like, hey, like we're gonna introduce the microtransactions to fund the next season. And I was like, you know what, okay, it's not a bad idea. Like I don't mind buying the cosmetics, the ghosts, the some of the ships and things like that. I didn't mind buying that stuff if I knew for a fact it was gonna be.
Yeah, because that's where I think that was what their philosophy was with the microtransactions. Like, yeah, you're gonna have microtransactions, but it's just for like little cosmetics, but it's gonna fund your future expansions, which I think they kind of held up to most of that their end.
I remember when they said they had the 10-year plan, but then that went out the window after 2 years, and they're like, "Screw it, we're just gonna do Destiny 2 now."
And then Destiny 2 was still good, but it just
didn't feel the same.
It didn't feel the same as compared to 1, because I feel like it became very heavy microtransactions paying for stuff, because I remember there's certain dungeons, I think if I remember right, in 2 that you weren't able to do unless you bought like a key, but you had to buy, it was like you had to use real money to get these keys, to get these to get access to these dungeons. And I was like, so you're locking me behind content because I'm not paying $7 for this key to be able to do this dungeon that you may or may not get good loot. So I feel like they just kind of messed up their whole microtransaction philosophy from 1 to 2, and that's what I kind of was disappointed within 2. Even though I always would go back to it, it just didn't hold up. And especially with now, I think they had like a Star Wars expansion that just came out, or
which
Star Wars
looks sick,
which looks cool. But then I'm just like, can't you come up with your own original idea instead of just trying to like market it with something that's already it's like inspired? But
that's what everything is now, though. I mean, I honestly think they took that whole Star Wars thing from like Fortnite when they had that huge Star Wars event, and then like a few months later, then they had their Star Wars event on there.
I think so.
I don't know what was coming out around that time for Star Wars, but for some reason it had a huge boom in like Star Wars this, Star Wars that.
Fortnite, the reason why I say Fortnite gets away with this is because when you go into Fortnite, you just know that everything's eventually going to be put into that game. Yeah. It's like
if it's popular enough, it's going in there.
It's going in there. So like I can't say when they're doing like these things, it's like, oh, come with some original ideas, because I already expect that going into like a Fortnite experience. But with, like, I feel like Destiny, I feel like it's like, come on, give me something new and not just
stay in your lane.
Something unique, and instead of just kind of copy pasting ideas from Star Wars and putting it into your game. But at the same time, I can't really say too much about the expansion because I didn't really play it, so I can't really say, this is 100% like the correct way of thinking.
Almost convinced me to go back a little bit. I was like,
just a little bit.
Like, that's kind of cool. We get lightsabers. Yeah, exactly. I was like, that sounds pretty enticing.
But yeah, I just feel like Destiny 2 just kind of just fell apart with their whole plan, and I think
that's usually the case.
If they would have just continued off of 1, I feel like we would have gotten a lot better Destiny experience.
That's usually the case for a lot of games. It's nothing compared to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back then, games used to have a really good follow-up. Nowadays, part 2s are kind of hit and miss. Right?
Yeah.
Usually because the team has changed, people have left. There's different ideas floating around now. Maybe they want to go a different route. So.
And then also too, I think what comes into the play is that they don't want to get they want to play it safe.
Of course.
No one wants to get risky, which I feel like that's where you got a lot of good games that still hold up to this day, is because they took a risk.
Look at all the indie games that have recently come out. All those like small time, less than 20 people working on a game, and it's like, screw it, we don't have anything to lose. Let's just give it our all.
Yeah,
take all chances. I mean,
and it really shows.
Baldur's Gate was one. I never played it, but I watched you play it, and I was like, you know what? That's a pretty sick game.
But it kind of shows how big I think taking a risk is, because like I think last year, every single game at the Game Awards, every single game that got put into that Game Awards category were all indie games.
Yeah.
not a big major company. Technically, you could make the argument for Death Stranding because it was made by Kojima, and he already had that like big following before when he was in his when he was working. But at the same time, I even looked it up to his new company, Kojima Productions or whatever, is actually they have a lot of money, but they are considered like an indie developer because they're not backed by one of the major things. So technically, it still falls into the indie category from what I read about.
Right.
But so pretty much all it shows.
Even Saber and Game Shop for Warhammer 40K. We'll have to cover that a little bit more in depth on a different one, but there's tons of lore to cover on that, and I just think,
I know.
I think that
I've never really gotten into it, but I know he's been trying to get us into it.
That whole universe and the idea of just like 40,000 years in the future, it's just pure war. Everybody's fighting over planets. You got different armies of people. You have Necrons, which are kind of like the cybernetic robots. Then you have the Tyranids, which is just pretty much like the aliens. Okay. Just insane amounts of like depth.
Yeah, I know.
We'll cover that.
It gets. I hear it gets like super like.
It does.
Wild and lore stuff.
It's one of those games, and plus the amount of factions you have to choose from. Like you could be whatever you want to be in that, and still like customize your armor and pick your things and whatnot. So there's a lot of choice in that game. And I think for a game, Saber's been around for a while, but this is like their first like huge game, along with like Gamers Workshop, and they've been around for years on end too. And this is like the first like modern collaboration that has just taken off.
Yeah, I've seen little bits of it. I haven't really got into the Warhammer, I guess, that game, the Space Marines 2, because I know that came out. But it was kind of funny when they announced Space Marines 2. It was like that old Space Marines game. They're making a sequel because the first one came out a long time ago. I didn't play it, but the only reason I knew about it is because my cousin, he played that game. And I remember that was like back in maybe high school, maybe a little bit earlier. So when I heard that there was a second one, I was like, "What the heck? A second one? I would never thought of a second one because it's been so long since since the first one came out." But yeah, back onto like the whole indie thing. I feel like that just goes to show how much of better state that some indie developers are, because usually,
there's no fan base, so there's nothing to lose.
All the indie games literally took up all the Game Award nominations, and then ended up being the one that I played. Even though did I play most of them? I played a little bit of Silksong. I didn't play Hades 2. I played Death Stranding, which was phenomenal, especially it was a huge upgrade from the first one. And then my favorite game for last year that actually won Game of the Year, actually won like 13 rewards last year, was Expedition 33. That game was so there was something else about that game, and just playing it and then just seeing how much passion you can tell that was put into this game. And end up taking away, and it shows because a lot of people started trying to hate on Expedition 3, like, oh, it's not that good. People were trying to talk down about it and saying it can't be that great. Like, I don't know why, it's just a single player game. It's gonna die. It's like, yeah, single players are meant to retain an audience for long, because you play the story mode. There you go. Yeah. I'm going to go into the next game. So they're not meant there to retain the player count.
They're meant to be there when you want to play it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you'll play through it, you'll set it down for a year or two, and you're like, you know what? I want to run through it. You run through that. And, I just recently did that with a couple of games. Like, obviously, the re-release of, like, Dead Space. That was another, like, game when they come into PS5. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. Updated on the graphics. They changed the story a little bit. So I was like, this is great. Like, I can get behind this. And I probably end up playing it again down the line somewhere. What else? I replayed all the Batman Arkham Asylum games.
Oh, I know. I know. You finished those kind of quick, because you finished all three of them, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When he told me that, he's like, I just got this. And I think maybe like 2 weeks down the road, he was like, I'm already on Arkham Knight. And I was like, what? You just got it 2 weeks ago.
Well, I was going to say, because I saw it on Amazon. It just kind of popped up on my feed. I think it was the trilogy set for, I think it was like $30. And I was like, and it comes with all the expansions. And I'm like, well, back then, all those were like $60 games, and each expansion was $30. So, like, that's like a well over $200 like package that I got for $30. And I was like, sold. And I had been wanting to play it again too. I've had that itch to, I think it was after the Batman that just came out with Robert Pattinson. Oh, okay. And I was like, now I want to go back and play.
And it was on a sale, so then that's usually what entices you to get certain games. Where like, you know what, I might pick that up and try it out.
Did I need it? No. Did I want it? Yes. So.
But yeah, back onto like Expedition 33. Like, everyone wanted to talk down about it and say bad things about it, and I think even like there was like a streamer that ended up saying like because I guess Arc Raiders he was very into Arc Raiders at that time, and he was trying to like belittle Expedition 33. He's like, oh, Expedition 33 better not win Game of the Year. Arc Raiders needs to win, and that's what I think gave me a little bit of distaste to not try Arc Raiders because they ended up saying that. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to try this Arc Raiders game because it's like now he's trying to belittle Expedition 33. Expedition 33 and say that Arc Raiders is the better game even though it's like a multiplayer game. So like that's what kind of put the distaste in not me wanting to play Arc Raiders. But yeah, that game's awesome. Like the music's great, the story is phenomenal. I was emotional during the whole game, and it just goes to show like how good it was because even on TikTok that's all that people were talking about. Even people that didn't really play single player games or played those types of games or didn't play RPGs, they're like, oh, I tried it out and I actually really liked it. The story was good and all that stuff. And they usually would say, I was not really into RPGs, but that's what got me into like wanting to play an RPG. And so like it just goes to show. And then the fact that it won 13 rewards last year at the Game Awards just goes to show how phenomenal that game is, and it's going to be talked about for years to come.
Oh, dude, 100%.
And the fact that it was an indie developer that was able to make a game with like a small team, and it kind of calls back to like how Baldur's Gate was. It was another small team. They worked on it. There's so much things you can do on there. So much dialogue, so much cutscenes and everything. And even bigger gaming companies were even trying to say like, do not expect this for like going forward for
all
games.
The AAA titles. Pissed.
And it's just like, wait, but this team had less money than you, and they were able to put this much content in it. And you're saying with your budget or with the amount of money you make that you can't put that much stuff into your game. Yeah. It's kind of just weird, and it's just like me. They kind of had a lot to say about like where the mindset is for these big companies.
That's a big FU to everybody that's a gamer. It's like, okay, well, how does a smaller budget make a better game versus an unlimited
and more
budget?
Content?
Yeah,
and now you're saying that we don't expect this going into our games, and it's just like, but you have the money for it, so I don't feel like there's an excuse. No, I know there's probably like a lot of things that go into it, but at the same time, there's still, I don't know. I feel like there's probably more that goes into it, but like from the surface, it just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it should be like that.
I would say like the past 2 years of gaming for me hasn't really been a whole lot of huge AAA titles. It's been a lot of like smaller indie games. Like been playing a lot of Helldivers 2. Like that game was kind of I think it's Arrowhead, right?
Yeah, Arrowhead.
That game freaking amazing. I could spend hours on end, and I have spent hours on end playing that game.
That game was fun.
That's a good game if you just want to pick something up, kill something, run missions, and run it back.
He's played it a little bit more than me, but like I played it a good amount, and it's just it was just overfull, and it was like $40, and of course another small company, and it was $40, and it ended up making more than the money they put into it with how much copies they sold because everyone was
and they actually listen
to
the community, so that's what I do. Like most companies don't give a rip what we have to say.
Yeah,
but I do love how like when something doesn't go the way the community wants it to, they'll just bully the company by disliking and giving bad reviews on it, and then it's like, all right, cool, we'll fix it. Sorry. They've done that twice, I think, and it's been in our benefit as far as players goes. And they're always dropping free stuff like, cosmetics. And they give you goals, like, as a community, like, okay, like, we need to take over this planet, and if you do, we're going to give you this
we're going to give you this
epic stratagem. Yeah. So it's like, I'm okay with working towards something like that if it's a community base. So why not?
Yeah, it definitely is really cool about it. It's just the community focus that it has, where it's like everyone wants to work on getting the special stratagem or what. I think sometimes they did weapons too.
Yeah.
And just everyone, you could see it in the map, and it's just like everyone's on that planet trying to get it completed. So it's definitely really cool.
And that's one game with like microtransactions. They do have microtransactions in there, but if you play the game, you just grind it, you'll get the credits for free. So if you don't really want to spend more than the $40 you put into the game, like you just got to play it relentlessly, and you'll get to buy the battle passes and things like that. Because even when you buy the battle passes, I think it gives you like about 500 credits back out of the 1,000. So you get half your money back up front. So if you just grind it for another 500 credits, you could buy the next battle pass that drops. And I'm kind of like, I think before that I missed like the last 3 battle passes, but these more recent ones that just dropped, I was like, these are awesome. Like, this is what the game needed. Like, it makes it more epic.
I think the only thing I didn't like about the battle passes is that they locked in like weapons behind it. Like, I think that's the only thing I didn't like about it, because I hate it when it's just like, here's a small small artillery of weapons that you get to choose from, like just buying the game or whatever it is. And then, but then if you want these better weapons that are probably going to be way better than the starting ones, you're going to have to pay for it. And it's just like, I feel like when you're like, if it's cosmetics and other things that they usually give, I feel like it's not too big of a deal. But when you like lock a specific gun and it's like, oh, well, it's behind this battle pass, you have to pay the money to get this gun. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I hate it when they have guns locked behind battle passes, because like Call of Duty does that, where it's like, if you miss out on that battle pass and you don't get that reward, or like don't buy the battle pass, they'll have some free gun. I think I think every single gun they come out with is usually free, as long as you get to that tier of the battle pass.
Yeah,
but the thing
you gotta
is,
go far.
the battle pass progression system in most of these Call of Duty games now are super slow. Like I could be playing like, I don't know, maybe 4 hours of Call of Duty and only knock out like 4 pages or 4 rewards, and it's just like,
that game is pay to win, though. We both know that, and that's kind of why we stopped playing.
And it's like, that's just I don't like that, because it's just it's like I'm putting in 4 hours, and usually with other games that I've played that have a battle pass, your progression gets super. You level up pretty quick, but in Call of Duty it's just so much slower. And then half the time it's like, oh, it's a free weapon, and I think that's why they do it. It's like, it's slower progression, and we are going to give you the weapon, but it's going to take you a while to be able to get that. You're probably going to play like 200 plus games to be able to get that gun. And then if you don't get that gun, and because the battle pass, we get a new battle pass, you miss out on that gun, so you don't even get to have access to that content.
Oh yeah, and like I said, it is pay to win. So like, if you're not a streamer or anything like that, that's got subs giving you the money to just pay for the entire battle pass and not have to grind it like the rest of us, obviously you're gonna have an advantage. And some people who want that advantage will just pay force the money. Like, the battle pass is like what, $30, but if you pay like $100, it unlocks everything for you. So it's like, something like that. I don't know what the exact price is, but I know if you throw a huge chunk of change at it, you could just skip tiers and get everything. Or
just complete the battle pass.
Or which
completely.
But it's time. It's
like $100.
It's your time versus just paying for it. It's like, I get it.
I think it's usually like $100 if you want to the whole battle pass completed.
Yeah. Most streamers just pay for it because they have it's $100 and it's going to give me hours of content. So like, why not?
Yeah.
But for people like us who are just here to enjoy the game and play it for fun, it's like, it kind of puts us
like,
at
I really want that gun, but it's like the progression's so slow, so I don't even get to get that gun, and it's just like I missed out on it.
But that's why, like with Helldivers too, like I don't mind the battle pass being like that, only because like
battle passes do stay.
Yeah, they do stay, and you can come back whenever, and the fact that it's PvE. There's no PvP. Well, technically there is, but if you do it, everybody will just keep killing you or kick you. So whoever's team leader,
because there's a friendly fire.
You could be a dick all you want.
So there is a PvP.
There is a PvP aspect. It's not required, but you'll be a piece of shit for the rest of the game, and they'll either kick you out or they just won't help you. So
I guess I could say that's, even though the guns are locked behind the battle pass, and I guess I could accept a little bit more. I forget
they're earnable too. It's like, remember, like I said,
you get to go back to the battle pass. So even though they get a new battle pass, it's like, oh, you want the battle pass from the first season? Just go back to it.
Yeah, it's there, and the more you play, the more credits you get, and the more stuff you could buy. If you grinded that game for every single day for a while, you could probably obtain every battle pass. So it's really no cost to you other than the $40 you've invested. It's just your time. So, and not to mention, like when you dump $20 into it, I think you get like 2,500 credits, and each battle pass is 1,000 credits. So you're essentially getting 2 battle passes and half a battle pass already, based on whatever you have for $20. So I think the currency wise in that game, I think they did it right. Like, they're not getting greedy. It's enough to get you what you need, and then like, it's just $20. Screw it. And then I'll get another battle pass down the line, because I've done that. I've dumped 20 into it, and then I bought a battle pass, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let it cook and see what else drops, and then maybe skip one and then get the one after it. I've done that a few times. As far as arc raiders go, I mean, I know we didn't get a chance to play too much of it. We kind of touched a little bit on.
There were so many things that came out this week.
Yeah, a lot of things I hate.
I just didn't get into arc raiders. Like, I probably played it once this week, but I feel like there's still some stuff to take away from the experience, because like 2 other things came out that we'll probably get into briefly, like first impressions and stuff. But yeah, arc raiders, the new update came out. It was pretty cool. The Shrouded Sky update. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'll tell you my thoughts after I hear your thoughts first.
I remember when I hit you up to play, and I was like, well, and you're like, I'll be on like around 9ish. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna kind of get a feel for it. I'll jump in a lobby or two. First impressions, I think it's cool. I think the idea of adding the wind factor, or the whatever,
the
hurricane factor to it, is pretty cool. It definitely screws visibility. So like, being able to see like more than 10 feet in front of you sucks. But that, you could use that to your advantage by moving around from building to building. But obviously with that comes its downsides, is when the debris and stuff is hitting you, you're lighting up like a Christmas light out there.
Mm.
And you can easily spot that from across the map, no matter what.
Kind of like a horror. Actually, with the hurricane weather thing, it kind of feels like a horror game.
Yeah, especially with those comments rolling around, dude. Because once you hear that little beep noise behind you, you're screwed. It's just like, oh my god.
Especially if you don't have a lock on it before, like because it like it'll move slow for a little bit, and then it'll do like that charge, like. Yeah. And then I'll charge at you, and then that's when it blows up.
Sonic speed.
And that's literally the explosion is literally a dead. Well, it's
lethal.
It's pretty lethal. It's literally feels like I got hit by a deadline, which is kind of makes sense because you need the part that you get from the comet to be able to make the deadline. So it's kind of funny. These guys are literally rolling deadlines.
Instantly wipe shields and quarter of a health left every single time. So but I did find that, and I saw somebody do it too, and I didn't think about it. Like, if you go out in the storm and you take your shield off and just throw it in your inventory, it doesn't light you up because it doesn't take your health away. It's just shield. And then when it comes to losing your shield out in the open, using the little green ones to recharge you don't do anything.
It's the blue.
It's the blue ones that'll instantly gives it to you. And I'm like, so there's pros and cons to it. So it's kind of a trade-off. If you take your shield off, you're kind of hidden and nobody will see you. But if somebody lands one shot on you, it's game over.
Pretty much.
One Pharaoh shot to the head and it's game. So it's a give and take. And I haven't really found any good loot as of yet. Even when I played with you for a couple games, I mean, I think we was just collecting the comet stuff.
I feel like that wasn't. It was missing from the hurricane. I do like the whole hurricane weather condition, but usually with these other weather conditions, they usually give you. There's usually a blueprint that only drops during that event. Yeah. And they didn't add new weapons, so you're pretty much just doing the hurricane just to do it. There's not like a specific blueprint or new gun that you can get from that particular event. So that's what I feel it's lacking, but I feel like it makes up in because I remember when we were playing Hurricane, I got like 3 different blueprints, or maybe like 3 or 4 different blueprints just from doing Hurricanes. They weren't like anything crazy, but the fact that I found 4 blueprints in one game, and that has been a continuous thing. Every time I do Hurricane, you get a good amount of blueprints, so I feel like that makes up, but I feel like there should be like a blueprint for doing that event, so it's like a new weapon or something like that. So I think that's the only thing that's lacking, that it didn't come. We didn't get a new weapon in this update.
To me, this update kind of feels more geared towards like the newcomers. Like, hey, you're gonna be entering in this new weather, you're going to get a lot of stuff out of it. So I feel like it's because most of the stuff I found blueprint wise has been like stuff that I own. So it's like things that I don't really need, but I'll just sell anyways. But in my head, I'm like, okay, well, this is really good if you're brand new because you're getting a lot of stuff for free without having to do the hard stuff like the night raids, do the matriarch stuff, like things like that. I feel like it's really good for anybody who's looking to get into it. This would be a good time to do so, waiting for the hurricane stuff.
Honestly, the way you put it like that, I feel like it definitely is for some people that are barely getting into it to be able to catch up because of how often blueprints drop in this hurricane weather condition. Yeah, it's a little bit challenging, but you end up getting like 4 blueprints, and like when we just started, we were getting like
1 to 2
blueprints every
3 to 4 games.
Maybe even more matches depending on what it was. But yeah, okay, you know what? I like that perspective of the update. And so yeah, if you ever want to get into Arc Raiders, I feel like it'd be a perfect time because then you would be able to get a good amount of blueprints. It might not be like the craziest of blueprints, but it might be, you never know.
Just what you need to get started.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And I think the new enemy types that they introduced, the comment is they're not annoying or difficult.
If you have distance between you, it's fine. The flamethrower one,
the Firefly? Yeah. That's what it's called.
Firefly, yeah. That one is not challenging. It is just because where the armor is located covering the rotors, but if it's at the right angle and you just get it, it's fine.
Yeah, honestly, I thought the Firefly was going to be a little bit more frustrating because it's a flying flamethrower. But honestly,
if it catches you off guard.
The thing is, though, the way I noticed about the flamethrower, it shoots in bursts. So it doesn't just like the flamers on the little roly-polies.
Oh, yeah.
They consistently shoot fire at you. With the Firefly, it shoots a burst of fire, and then it stops for a split second, and then it shoots another burst. So then it does less damage. Like, I remember, I was just able to tank it, and I think I only lost, like, half my shield. And I was able to kill it. So I was like, okay, you know what? These guys are actually too bad. But they are terrifying because the sound that they make, sometimes I don't even know where they're at. And you'll just hear their sound. I'm just like,
where is it?
Yeah, they definitely do have a creepy, little sound to them, saying that they're, in the area, but other than that, they're not too difficult to fight.
I really think that those arcs paired up with any of the other arcs is just a death sentence because
Yeah.
you're trying to focus on not getting burned, and then there's one rolling around, possibly gonna burn you or
And then the
blow
wasps.
or blow up, yeah, or being shot at. So like any combination of the two is just a death sentence, unless you have those pop rockets or whatever they're called. The Seekers, if I carry a stack of those every time we go in, no matter what, just in case. Because those ones are instants for the wasps. It takes 2 for the
Hornets.
The Hornets, and then I think it's 2 to 3 for the Firefly, and I think it's 2 for the Comet, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
yeah,
I haven't used the Seeker
because it only requires
Comet.
arc alloy and I think crude explosives to make. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio as far as building it goes. So you should be able to carry a stack of 2 of those in any given raid because you're gonna use it no matter what.
And I feel like a lot more people are gonna be using a lot more secret grenades in this new update because I think the only thing I didn't really like too much that they added was that the wolf packs now require
everything's more expensive to make now.
As it requires a Rocketeer driver, and I'm just like, you rarely get well, I'm not saying you rarely, but like you with Rocketeers, you usually only get like 1. Some people do say that you could get 1 to 2.
Yeah.
But the fact that I have to use a Rocketeer driver to make the wolf packs,
and it takes 1 or 2 to take them out.
It's just like I know people are saying, well, it makes it too. It makes the game too easy, so that's why they needed the nerf. Because I've seen some people talk about it and saying that it needed that, and then some of the people it's like, I don't feel like it needed it. Well, like for me, like what my thoughts are is at the end of the day, it's a PvE game. Like it's a PvE item specific thing. So I feel like a nerf like that is not really necessary because it's not like I could use a wolf pack on a freaking raider, on a person. It's only meant for like the arc. And putting that Rocketeer driver, I'm just like, that's just too expensive in my mind. So I'm just like, I guess I'm just gonna be using secret grenades, and then if I get a random wolf pack in like from like a drawer or something like that when I'm looting, then I'll have one. But I don't think I'll be using them too much. Because at the end of the day, I don't think if it's a PvE specific item, I feel like there's no necessary nerf. And I guess if they really wanted to fix it, they could have just kept the same components you use to make the wolf pack and maybe add like 2 more, because I think it's 3 and 3. So they could have made it just cost 5 and 5. I would have been more happy with that. But the fact that it requires a Rocketeer driver is just like, I don't know. I don't necessarily like that change. I know some people probably disagree, but
of course,
I don't think that's a very fun.
I
don't get to use the wolf. I don't get to enjoy the wolf packs now.
My problem with that is that like we need those extra resources now. No matter what, anytime you're killing a big arc, there's always people lingering around waiting for it to happen to go and take it anyways. So they're either going to take it before you get there, or they'll wait for you to take it and just take it from you afterwards. So there's a lot more. I think
it adds a lot more
It adds more
reason to PvP someone now. That you see. Oh, I just saw them raid loot a Rocketeer. I'm gonna be that jerk and kill him and take his Rocketeer driver.
And just wait for the extract camping. Yeah.
And so I feel like they did kind of try to mesh towards PvP more in this one, because even the new area that they added in Dam Battlegrounds, it's like a whole puzzle, but apparently you can't just, like, we usually just do duos, and apparently you can't do the puzzle if you're doing duos. Like, you need 2 separate teams to be able to do the puzzle. And I was like, that just sounds like a recipe for disaster, because everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, we're friendly, we're going to help you out with this puzzle,
and then turn around
and then because there is some pretty good loot from what I've heard so far that you get from doing the complete puzzle, but then it's like I said, it's a recipe for disaster, because as soon as you get that stuff, and then it's just gonna call for people to just kill you. So I don't necessarily. So then pretty much when they added that new area and I saw the things that you have to do and that you might need a second team to do it, I was like, well, I guess I'm never gonna loot that area, because I just don't think it's worth it in the end, because you're gonna have to be like consistently having to watch your back, because someone's gonna probably end up killing you, or if maybe you do get a team to help you out, there's gonna be someone waiting to be able to just kill you, and it's gonna be easier to kill you because they could just throw a grenade in there, and since you're all grouped up, boom, knock them all out, and then boom, take all their loot. So like, I definitely don't know if I'll ever loot that area or ever do that puzzle. So I feel like, I don't think I'll be trying that out.
Yeah,
I think and the fact that there's like, we do duos and stuff, it kind of that it's locking you out from that content, because you don't have a second team to, like, you don't have a second team or whatever. I think it's a little weird, I guess, because like now I'm locked out of a certain part of the game because
Because I can't communicate.
Yeah, because I can't communicate, or no one really talks, or
Yeah.
they're gonna end up killing me, or because we're playing duos, we can't just do it me and him to do the puzzle. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try it one day to do that puzzle just to see what I get, but I don't think I'll be going to that area that much.
Yeah.
Any other takeaways?
Let's talk about where you were at yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to you?
We could have talked about this earlier, but we ended up getting talking about games and stuff. But yeah, it was a very interesting week now that he brought it up. But pretty much I went to Frank & Sons. Frank & Sons is the place to be.
Greatest place on earth.
I know, greatest place on earth. It's like Disneyland for nerds. And so I just went because I had some Pokemon cards that I had that I was like, I'm not going to do with them. They're just collecting dust. Let's just see what I could get for them. So I went to Frank & Sons for a bit and got up there, and I went to the back where I normally go to sell my stuff, and there was a booth that we usually go that me and Jordan usually go to, and it was like closed off, and there was a bunch of people grouped up in that area, and I was like, the heck is going on here? Like, are they like waiting for, I thought maybe a new set for like Pokemon or something like that came out, so everyone's like waiting in line to be able to like for the store to open so they could buy the set from them. So that's what I was thinking. So I was like, I wonder what's going on. So I was just standing there for a little bit, and then some random person came up to me, well, not up to me, but there was a person next to me, and I guess they were talking. And I was like, do you know who's like, and I asked him, I was like, do you know who's like supposed to be here? And he's like, well, I heard from someone else that supposedly Post Malone's going to be there, supposedly here at this stand. I was like, Post Malone? I was like, kind of makes sense, because apparently I hear that he does go to Frank & Sons like quite often, and he's like a big old magic
head. Yeah,
he's a big old magic head now, which is awesome.
I know he has a Black Lotus, and I know he has one ring to rule them all.
He has the one ring.
And it's written in the Lord of the Rings lore. I'm like, because even he says, like, don't reprint it. Let it be worth some money, you know?
But pretty much, they said it was, like, supposed to be Post Malone, but they didn't sound 100% sure. And even other people that I asked, they didn't sound too sure either. And I guess everyone was just waiting there. And I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, I kind of want to find out who it is and whatever. And I guess someone was a little bit more sure. And they're like, but I think he's not going to be like meeting any of the like people out here. He's just opening packs for I guess they're probably doing a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So he's probably opening packs up for their channel and stuff. So
I saw people were posting on the Frank's IG page, and I was like, holy shit, Post Malone's there. I'm at work swinging at the air, and when you texted me a picture of that, I was like, this mother. Ooh, I was mad, but then I was like, all right, good for him.
So pretty much, yeah. So we're like, I don't think he's gonna really see any of the fans. He's probably just doing a video. Then they're gonna probably hide him, and he's gonna sneak away or whatever. So then it feels like, but then for me, from what I know about him, he seems like a very humble guy, very nice guy. Oh, yeah. From just what I've seen, like interviews and just the way he talks and just different little stories that I heard about him. And I was like, he's not the type of person to do that. I feel like even though he's there just to do a YouTube video with the collaboration or whatever it is, he's definitely going to know if there's people out there. He's going to be like, you know what, I'm going to go say hi to them. Like, he's like that type of guy that he's really, like, he's chill. Like, he loves his fans. So he's like, if I have the opportunity to see them, like, why not? And so I was there. I sold my stuff. Surprisingly, I actually got a decent amount of money for it. I was like, I didn't even know these cards were going to be worth anything because it was Pokemon. I'm not really know too much about the value for some Pokemon cards. But yeah, I got a decent amount. And then I went back into the thing. People were still waiting. And I was like, actually, I had a thought about it. I was like, maybe I should just head out. Like, he probably is not going to come out like anytime soon. And it's already getting a little bit later. But I was like, yeah, I'll wait for a little bit longer. And I guess, like, sure enough, like, maybe 20 minutes after me waiting there, he finally came out. And I guess because I think he was either leaving or he went to go, like, take a break or something to, like, go get something to eat or maybe. So he was going to leave the area. And he came out. Everyone was like, oh, my gosh, Post Malone. I was like, oh, my gosh, it's actually him. Like, that's crazy.
Starstruck.
Yeah. And I ended up taking a couple photos, like, of him in the crowd. I didn't get, like, a clear photo of him, but, like, a couple photos. I was like,
did he pass by you and you got the card signed, or were you waiting in line to get something signed?
I wasn't waiting in line. I was just in the group. So pretty much how it was like a group. It was like just clutter of people around. There wasn't like people in the line or whatever. And he came out and everyone was like, hey, what's up? Like, hi. Like, everyone was taking photos with him and everything. And yeah, sure enough, he was super chill about it. He was just like, oh yeah, like come on, take a photo of me. And even his like security guards were trying to get him through.
I saw that
through the set of
in some of the posts. I was like, this guy is on a mission.
Like the security guards were trying to get him out, and Post Malone was like, no, just taking photos of everyone, like having like talking to them very briefly and stuff. And I was like, see, like he's just that type of person. And I was trying to, like, as he was going towards the more of the, I guess, my right, his left, he was going more down that way to be able to leave. I started kind of like shimming my way, and I got a little bit closer because that's what people were doing. And I saw people like having like their cards handed to him, and then he had a marker because I think I heard something out loud. And like, hey, does anyone have a marker and all that stuff? So I gave him a marker, and like people were giving him his cards, and he was just signing it. And I started inching my way. I guess he took a photo with like a family real quick, and he was like literally like face to face with me.
That's so.
And then I was like, hey, Post Malone, or I think I said Posty or something like that, like his nickname. And he finally looked at me. He's like, oh, hey, what's up? I was like, can you sign my card? And I had the card.
Show it to them. Show it to them right now, dude.
I had the card.
The value of that card went up through the roof.
I know, right? I got the card right here. I think you can see it in the video right here. Let's see, like that. But pretty much, I had this card because I recently just found this card, and it's probably one of my first Planeswalkers I ever got when I first started Magic. And sure enough, he saw the card, and I was like, hey, can you get it signed? Like, can I sign it? Can I get it signed? And he's like, yeah, sure. So then he takes my card. He signs it with this thing, and he's like, that's a badass card. He liked the card.
Which
like,
I'm sure he fucking has.
Yeah, and he's like, that's a badass card. I was like, oh, like, thank you very much. And then he continued on. Like,
that's cool, dude.
And my dad was, because I told my dad about it, and then he was like, oh, you should have took a photo with him so that you have, like, authentication saying that it actually is signed by him. And I was like, I already got the card signed by him. Like, I feel weird to ask him, hey, can I take a photo with you too?
Yeah.
Because it's like
you don't want to be that guy, but everybody else is being that guy.
Yeah, I don't want to be that person. Like I got the one thing that I like, and it's like I'm not gonna sell this card ever. Yeah. So like
I got the goop them out.
I don't really care if it's not like I don't really have the idea of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sell it. I need to see if it's get it authenticated because I'm not gonna sell it.
I would never sell that card ever. I would frame it.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you didn't see it on the video, we'll post it up on the IG. I think you did, right?
What?
Posted up the picture of the card on IG.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty much, he signed in. I was like super happy. I was super excited. I was like,
I was swinging at the air when you sent that to me too. I was like, this asshole, man. Like,
and he's like, he's just like super chill. He like, because usually I feel like most celebrities in that space, if you ask, like, if they were in a thing like that, they would be super. I feel like they would actually go with their bodyguards. They wouldn't take the time. And if you did ask for a signature, they're gonna be like, oh, sorry, like. You should have came, or like if they're doing like, oh, you have to come to an event, or they're gonna be like, it's $40 for the signature or something like that, and they would be like, sorry, or they would just straight up say, oh no, I can't sign anything or something like that because that's not what we're doing today. And I feel like that's what celebrities would probably end up doing, but he's just like he knows like his fans are like his are made him what he is. And he's like humble about that. And he's like, hey, yeah, if I can just sign something small for them or like say hi to them, take a quick photo, like he's gonna do that. And I feel like that's not the mentality that I feel like most celebrities would have.
I think as a celebrity,
which makes them stand out.
I think if you're as a celebrity, if you're going to an event where you know there's people going to be there, you should expect for that to happen. I think on the day-to-day life when they're out doing their own errands stuff and you do that, that's kind of annoying. I think.
Yeah,
but if you're going to a place where you know for sure it's gonna happen, like you should have a better attitude, which. Clearly, he obviously does have one, so that's cool to see. Super
chill guy. Super nice. He was like saying hi to everyone. He was taking the time to get photos with everyone. And like again, the security guys were trying to get him out of there, but no, he just kept on taking photos, and not being like, "Oh, sorry, like I can't take no photos. Sorry, I can't sign anything." Yeah. Nope. He just was like, "Yeah, let me do it for you," because like that's just. Like I said, he's I feel like he's a very humble person.
Yeah, I believe in like the whole personal space thing. Like if you're a movie star and stuff like that, like. And you're in an area kind of where it's like that, where you expect it to happen, that's one thing. But like when you're out and about day-to-day life and it's like, hey man, like I'm just trying to enjoy like my free time and like time to myself or with my family, like can you not?
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable to ask for because I mean when you're in the limelight all the time, sometimes you just don't want to be.
Yeah, like if you're like, let's say I bumped into him like at freaking, I don't know, somewhere in LA, like at a random restaurant, then I feel like, I feel like it would be a little weird to ask him that because it's like he's just there trying to enjoy his food and then be able to leave, and then I'm over there trying to bother him. But like since he's like in this like type of I guess, environment. I feel like he knows that, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna take the time for my fans because they are the ones that are there, that have been there for him, because that's what made him like
super jealous
popular.
though. I would have definitely loved to have been there for that.
And also too, I love his music, so just being able to see him, to meet him like there, even if I didn't like talk to him that much, it's just really cool, because just like, oh wow, because I don't really have the chance to be able to see like celebrities, even though I know people in the past, or like people that I know that have met like celebrities or like people in that particular environment, and I've never had that luck. So like that's one experience that I get to hold on to myself. I'm like, yeah, and I got it signed.
Yeah, dude, hands down, it's freaking sick.
But yeah, that was pretty much that. It was the exciting thing about this week, and I think reason why we didn't, for me, I didn't really play too much back to like the Arc Raider stuff, is because we only played 1 week, because there was like so many things that kind of dropped. No, not so many things, but a good amount of stuff that took over the limelight this week. So like you had like Marathon, which was like the stress test that they had, which I kind of wanted. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily get it, but I was like, it's nice to at least try it to see how it feels.
I think today when you and I play, that'll be like the true test.
Yeah,
we're gonna see like how we can work with it. Basically.
Yeah, and then also too, Resident Evil 9 came out too, so that was another thing that took away my time. So like I really didn't have the part to be able to like play Arc Raiders, because we had Marathon, which we streamed on the channel for a little bit on our on SGI over on YouTube. And it was pretty chill. I had some trouble trying to get the setup for it for some reason, because the way I normally put the game on screen didn't work the way I usually do it. Like I had to do a different way to be able to.
We're still learning a lot of things.
Yeah, still learning. So I had to do a different option to be able to get it project on the screen. So the stream went a little late, but then we ended up getting it, and it looked fine and whatever. And like it was a pretty good experience. We played like 4 hours of it, so I'm like, that's a good amount of like thing to be able to have like some of the like a somewhat of an opinion or like thoughts on the game after 4 hours. And then also too, I played a lot of Resident Evil 9 this week, so yeah, I really didn't have any time for Arc Raiders this week, and I think you'll probably end up hearing probably next week after we play Marathon today, which will probably end up being on the channel today, on our YouTube, so you'll probably be able to see some more Marathon today with both of us, and maybe after today's experience with Marathon, we'll probably have some things to talk about. Bigger discussion about our overall thoughts come next podcast. And then as I play, I feel like I'm like halfway through Resident Evil 9. So like I feel like that's enough to have first impressions, but I feel like I should save that for the next podcast as well. So then it just gives you something to look forward to, like my thoughts on Resident Evil 9. Probably by Sunday, I'd probably end up saying that I finished it. So then you'll probably be able to hear my first impressions and then the overall what I think about the game. So I think be able to save that for next Sunday, I think would be better, instead of like trying to talk about it right now. But overall, I guess the thing I could take away from Resident Evil 9 and say here is probably like, I would say it's like honestly really good. It's like a step up from 8. Like I feel like 7 was fun, then 8 got an upgrade, so it felt very fresh from 7, and then you get to 9. So it kept on just upgrading with each one. So 7 upgraded to 8 upgraded to 9, and like 9 you can just it just feels a lot better.
I think with any game it should be like that every time. You should feel like a step up from the last game.
And that's definitely
otherwise like what's the point of me spending $60 to $70 on a game if I'm not going to get better stuff in the end of it. I think for sure this week though, like I'm going to make more time to like stream, obviously. Sometimes work can get in the way of things like definitely. That. After a long ass day of work, and it's like come home dinner, by the time I'm ready to play it's like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, man, like mentally I'm just exhausted. Like I can't do it today. Yeah, I'm pretty good about telling you like, hey, maybe not tonight for me, but this week for sure I'll make the time for it. And I definitely want to jump into Silent Hill with them, with everybody that's watching, and then we'll talk about other games that we're both going to be streaming sometime this week. So yeah, I'm going to do Silent Hill. We're going to do Marathon tonight. Maybe we'll do Arc Raiders. We'll see what the schedule looks like for the both of us. I think for
me, I'll probably, if I do the stream, it'll probably, because I think Marathon's test ends tomorrow, so you probably won't see it when I stream. If anything, we'll probably end up going back to Isla, because we haven't touched it since the last stream that I did with Isla.
True.
But overall, it's been a pretty cool game, and I definitely want to see where it goes, because I think I barely scratched the surface with the Isla. So you'll probably definitely see that on the channel if I end up streaming, and then if we end up getting the other streaming thing, you'll see some more Silent Hill F, and then we'll probably be able to see some Marathon today. Yep. So that's exciting. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else coming out. Then also too, again, you'll probably hear my thoughts about Resident Evil 9 soon.
Oh, and I just finished season 1 of JJK, and I'm jumping into season 2. So
Oh yeah.
a lot to talk about for next Sunday. And
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna let
definitely.
that stew. Probably by the time we get back next Sunday, I'll have season 2 done.
Yeah, so you'll probably be able to hear our overall thoughts. Well, his overall thoughts of the season as a whole.
Impressed. I'm
And
very
we could
impressed.
and we could talk about it and get into more depth about like pacing, how it felt. Do you feel like the connection with the characters in barely the first season? So yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot more topics that we talk about next week. I feel like today was just kind of just talking about games, things that brought us here, and then end up leading into different parts of our conversation. So I'm definitely excited.
And we definitely appreciate you guys again for tuning in to episode 3. Definitely shout out to Undercity Comics, Renee here for letting us use the facility.
And I think also too, I guess we just started just yesterday. We have a TikTok now, so you're gonna be being able to see some clips on the TikTok. So you're gonna be able to see more stuff. You'll be able to see some more stuff on the road because now we have our own TikTok. So we already got like a good amount of views for like the first 3 like clips, but it's kind of just the clips that we had on Instagram that we put on that I transferred over to TikTok, and we actually got like
it's another platform for us.
A decent amount of traction on there, and I think that's gonna definitely help the channel having the TikTok, because I think like TikTok is
because I think we could put our link in there for anybody that's interested to see it.
Yeah, I think eventually when we get like a certain amount of videos on there, since it's still a new account, they don't let you have a link to click right away. So, but we have the TikTok, and I feel like with how TikTok is, I feel like it's definitely helps out. It's going to help out a lot more, getting another set of viewers to come in to watch our stuff.
Because I think we can go live on there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, we could definitely go on live. I've never done a live on TikTok live. I don't know what we would do on TikTok live.
This is all new waters for us, so we're just kind of shot in the dark, seeing whatever works for us.
Because I definitely feel like with the TikTok, you could stream directly from the phone onto TikTok, but I don't know if people would want to see real life live stream of just what we're doing, like, or if we went somewhere, like do a quick little live or something. Who knows? Maybe some people might find that interesting later on down the road, and we might think about doing something like that. I've never done something like that where, like, let's say I'm going to Universal Studios and do like
field trip.
I know, do a field trip or whatever, and then do a TikTok live of my like day in Universal Studios. I've never done something like that.
Or we can even do it at Frank's too, dude.
Oh
just
yeah,
a quick little walk around.
Like a quick little walk around with Frank's.
Show the shops that we like to go to and things like that. So
yeah, definitely.
These are things in the future. We have plenty of options.
And then also too, like if we were to stream like games on TikTok, I know you have to get like we actually would have to be have the software, of course, like OBS and stuff to be able to stream on TikTok for like our games. So if you do see the streams for TikTok, it'll probably just be like maybe down the road. Yeah. Real life.
So many possibilities.
I know, some possibilities. I've never delved into that like way of content, so that will be definitely very interesting. So who knows? Do we have any dad lore today?
Dad lore today? Oh yes, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. I can't remember when my pop said this to me, but I do remember that he said that sometimes that, like when we hold grudges on people and things like that, that, our time spent here is very short, and that, holding grudges against people, it doesn't outweigh like the better possibilities that are like, like I would rather spend my time loving you than hating you type of thing. So, and I don't think I've ever hated anybody in my entire life. Upset with, angry, yes, but I don't think I've ever hated anybody to the point where it's like I wish ill will on anybody. I mean, everybody's allowed to have their own opinions and differences and things like that, and I feel that it shouldn't be a death sentence for anybody. Yeah. Like at all. It's fine. You and I could disagree on stuff, and I won't ever hold it against you because to me, I still view you as my friend.
And I feel like that goes into like kind of like what like my dad has always told me too. It's just like even though you have a different opinion from someone, it doesn't, or you don't agree with someone, it doesn't mean that you should be like bashing them because of the way they think, because they think different of you. You should always be able to have that conversation and see why they think like that, and be able to have that perspective, and still like hold on to what you believe, but still be able to be open-minded enough to be able to see their other side and like, okay, we're gonna get to the point where we agree to disagree. But I feel like that's very big thing that I take away from him, because I feel like in today's age, it's a lot of not agree to disagree. It's always like you either agree with me
Or you're an
or
asshole.
or I hate you, or I can't talk to you, or I can't be your friend and all stuff. And we've had he's had experience with that. Like people, just because he had a different opinion, they were like, "Oh, sorry, I can't be friends with you," or something like that.
Which is fine. Everybody's entitled to their own.
Yeah, but it's just like I feel like it's kind of weird. Like I wouldn't necessarily, or like I feel like both of us wouldn't necessarily, just because I don't agree with them, I would be like, "Sorry, I can't be your friend anymore because you don't agree with what I said." No, but I feel like people don't have that mentality, and it's just like, "Oh no, you either agree with me, and that's that." Like we can't agree to disagree, and we can't have like a conversation about the two different perspectives. And I feel like we need to get back to be able to have conversations with people and be able to get to a point where we either can agree to disagree. And I feel like that's the biggest takeaway. Or you can maybe not agree to disagree, but at the same time get them to see your way, or see the way the way they think a different way, same thing as me. It's like, okay, I think this way, but from what I got from that person, you know what, I might think about it somewhat in that way too, going into like another like talking to another person, or just being for that own personal growth. I'm not going to just completely shut out their opinion.
It's funny that you said that. I'll never forget, like when we were in high school, I had one teacher, Mr. Levine, and I think he was the football coach at the time. One of them.
I remember Mr.
older white gentleman. The first day I had his class with him, I sat. He brought us all in, and he had chairs in a circle in the classroom. He told us, like, "Hey, look, I'm Mr. Levine. Everybody take a seat. This, and that." And he went around the room asking him, and he's like, "What do you see?" And then depending on where you're sitting in the room, you're like, "Oh, I see this, I see that." Then he would ask the opposing person across from him, "Okay, well, what do you see?" "Well, I see, the window outside, freedom, this, and that." And then once he kind of went around the room with everybody, and they kind of gave their 2 cents, he's like, and I think it was for English, was what it was, his class. And he
sounds like an English thing.
An English thing. So, and I remember him saying, he's like, "Okay," he's like, "we all have different perspectives." He's like, "but it's important that we each take the time to understand each other's perspectives, because what you see, he may not see, and what I see, you may not see, depending on where we're at." So me sitting here, I see the green backdrop, the soundproofing, the comics, the magazines. Behind me, what do you see?
I see a cardboard cutout of Boba Fett. You got a TV right here. Got this brick wall, and then this, I don't know what this is over there.
Yeah,
thing of
cardboard.
Cardboard, I guess.
So if I told you the wall's green, would you agree with me?
I would be like,
Not being able to see the wall behind me. Just if I told you the wall's green and this is all you see behind me, would you agree with me?
I don't think I necessarily, because I see it as red, so I was like, kind of weird if it's green right here and then it's red over here.
It's all about perspective. What I see, and if you told him, and if I said, "Why don't you just turn around and take a look for yourself?" and you're like, "Oh shit, it's green." That's always stuck with me too.
Okay.
I'll never forget that. And anytime anybody pisses me off about something they say or do, and I'm just like, I can't be mad, because I don't know what their perspective is in life.
Yeah.
I don't know where they've experienced and what they've been with.
Yeah, so
and I think we could leave it with that. And
I definitely feel like we just need to get along, being able to agree to disagree, and just be able to have those conversations, because I feel like nowadays no one wants to talk anymore, and just whatever I feel or say, that's it.
Yeah, to each their own.
Yeah, to each their own. But yeah, I think it's better when we get to hear conversations and different perspectives, because then it just broadens your horizons, I guess, a little bit more, in like personal growth and stuff. So I think that's where it's a good point to where we leave off. We will be back, where, like I said, it's gonna be I feel like it's gonna be more jam-packed next week.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be episode 4, which is crazy. Never thought we'd be getting to 4 already. Like I said, it feels like we just started this.
That means we've been doing this for a month.
I know.
Sunday.
Oh wow,
oh, that's crazy to think.
This all for February, literally, and now we're moving on to March.
That's pretty awesome to see.
But yeah, everyone, hope everyone enjoys. Like I said, stay silent, stay lethal.
Appreciate you joining us.
That's our way as Silent Ground Infantry. Or actually, that's the way it started, Silent Ground Infantry. But now it's Silent Gaming Infantry. So, definitely.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a good night.